Imagine a year where football was at its most unpredictable, where underdogs triumphed against giants, where records that stood for decades crumbled in front of our eyes, where national pride, emotional storylines, and individual brilliance all collided to create moments that are still talked about over a decade later. That year wasn't in the distant past, it was 2012. From the biggest stages in Europe, to the heart of Africa, and even the Olympic Games, this was a year that redefined what football could be. This is the story of why 2012 remains the greatest year in football history. Number 1. A year that changed football's storyline. 2012 wasn't just another season, it was an emotional roller coaster that had something for everyone. Whether you supported a Premier League club, followed the magic of the Champions League, cheered for your national team, or loved football's global tournaments, you were constantly treated to moments that would make you jump, scream, or even cry. The magic of 2012 was that it wasn't just dominated by one team or one league, it was a truly global football year. Upsets happened everywhere, legends were born, heroes rose from nowhere, and some icons walked away from the spotlight with unforgettable goodbyes. Number 2. Chelsea's unbelievable Champions League triumph. Let's start with arguably the most shocking and emotional story of the year, Chelsea Football Club's first ever Champions League victory. At the start of 2012, Chelsea were struggling badly in the Premier League. Their manager, Andre Villas-Boas, had been sacked mid-season. Roberto Di Matteo stepped in as interim coach, and no one believed this team could win Europe's biggest prize. In the semi-finals, they faced Barcelona, the defending champions, featuring Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta at the peak of their powers. In the first leg at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea scraped a 1-0 win. But the real miracle came at the Camp Nou, when Chelsea went down to 10 men after John Terry's red card, and Barcelona led 2-0. Just when it seemed over, Ramirez scored a beautiful chip before halftime, and then Fernando Torres sealed the tie in stoppage time with a calm breakaway goal that sent Chelsea to the final. The final was no less dramatic. Playing Bayern Munich in their own stadium, Chelsea were under pressure all game. In the 88th minute, Didier Drogba scored a powerful header to equalize. In extra time, Petr Cech saved a penalty from Arjen Robben. Then came the penalty shootout. Drogba stepped up and scored the winning spot kick, giving Chelsea their first Champions League trophy and completing one of the most unlikely runs in football history. Number 3. Lionel Messi's record-breaking year. While Chelsea were celebrating in Europe, Lionel Messi was quietly building one of the most extraordinary individual seasons ever seen. In 2012, Messi scored an unbelievable 91 goals in all competitions, breaking Gerd Muller's record of 85 goals set in 1972. This wasn't just about numbers, it was about consistency. He scored in almost every game, against the toughest teams in the world, and in every competition he played. Messi's 2012 was a masterclass in skill, vision, and composure. His ability to dribble through defenders, create chances out of nothing, and finish from impossible angles made this year one of the peak moments of his career. Even Cristiano Ronaldo, who had an incredible season himself, couldn't match Messi's historic tally. Messi is the only player in history to win the Ballon d'Or a record 8 times, cementing his legacy as football's greatest. Number 4. Spain's international dominance. The summer of 2012 also gave us Euro 2012, hosted by Poland and Ukraine. Spain came in as reigning champions of both Euro 2008 and the 2010 World Cup. The pressure was massive. Could they really win 3 major tournaments in a row? Not only did they win, they dominated. Spain's style of football, short, quick passes, incredible control, and total midfield dominance, overwhelmed every opponent. In the final, they faced Italy, a strong and well-organized team. But Spain produced one of the most complete performances in international football history, winning 4-0, the largest margin ever in a European Championship final. This win cemented Spain as one of the greatest national teams ever assembled. Number 5. The Premier League's most dramatic finish. If you love drama, then May 13, 2012 was the day for you. Manchester City were fighting for their first league title in 44 years. Going into the final match day, they were level on points with rivals Manchester United but ahead on goal difference. All they needed was a win against QPR. It didn't go to plan. QPR led 2-1 going into stoppage time. The Premier League title was slipping away. Edin Dzeko scored to make it 2-2. Moments later, Sergio Aguero picked up the ball in the box, skipped past a defender, and smashed it into the net. Commentator Martin Tyler's scream of "Aguero" became one of the most famous calls in football history. City had done it. The blue side of Manchester celebrated like never before. Number 6. Zambia's Africa Cup of Nations miracle. 2012 wasn't just about Europe. At the Africa Cup of Nations, held in Gabon and Equatorial Guinea, Zambia, ranked far below the continent's powerhouses, produced one of the most emotional football stories ever. Facing Ivory Coast in the final, a team full of stars like Didier Drogba and Yaya Touré, Zambia held their ground. The game went to penalties, and Zambia won 8-7. This victory was deeply symbolic. It happened near the site of the tragic 1993 plane crash that killed most of Zambia's national team. 19 years later, the new generation brought the trophy home in their honor. Number 7. Olympic football surprises. At the London 2012 Olympics, football delivered more shocks. Mexico, not seen as a top contender, beat Brazil in the men's final to win their first ever Olympic gold. On the women's side, the USA reclaimed their dominance by beating Japan in a thrilling final, avenging their loss in the 2011 Women's World Cup. Number 8. Farewells and new beginnings. 2012 also saw the end of chapters for several football legends. Didier Drogba left Chelsea on the highest of highs. Alessandro Del Piero departed Juventus after decades of service. Raul moved away from European football. These departures reminded fans that while football's magic continues, its heroes eventually pass the torch. Number 9. Why 2012 stands above the rest. 2012 gave us fairy tales, dominance, drama, and emotional stories all in one year. It was a year where club, country, and even the Olympics delivered unforgettable moments. From Drogba's header to Aguero's winner, from Messi's record to Zambia's triumph, it was football's perfect storm. 2012 wasn't just a great year in football, it was the year. If you were lucky enough to witness it, you know it's unmatched. If you didn't, I hope this journey showed you why fans still call it the greatest. Which 2012 moment is burned into your memory? Let me know in the comments, subscribe for more football history, and let's keep celebrating the beautiful game together.